G'day folks. Well, I've been a bit busy lately, but it's time to do some tinkering around and give a general update on what's happening. First off with the motorcycles, a few people asked about them, and the YZ465 project's still alive. Haven't got it properly started yet. My dad's been playing with it because he's a motorcycle nut. We've also bought a full kit for the Honda H100. Yeah, so I've got a full engine rebuild kit for this because it's just flogged beyond... it's just unbelievably flogged out now. He's done everything he could to keep it going. He's even used piston rings from one of those Bristol radial 6-cylinder compressors to get it going. And it's eaten rings, it's chomped the piston ring grooves in the piston. It's made a bit of a mess, so we've got a full kit for that coming. $230 from wemoto.co.uk. This one here, we had the barrel off, or not the barrel but the head off. I will take the barrel off and see what bottom end plays like. Very nice bore, very good crankcase compression, so there's two critical things. Now the DC generator's home. It's H&G, Hodson and Galt, Melbourne. The tag's an electric motor tag, but they've stamped it for generation. It's a 9 amp DC, 110 volts, 1 kilowatt at 1500 RPM, so it's not huge. But it would actually be quite good on a stationary engine project, which is why I got it. Needs a good clean up though. It spins free, the brushes have tons of meat on them. I'm going to take it apart. Probably not too far, I won't take the poles out like I did with the Westinghouse, it tends to disturb the insulation. I'll just bake it, because it's been out in the weather. It was actually immersed halfway in water. You can see all the mud from being in the junk pile. Bake it, dry it, re-enamel it, or lacquer it, chuck it back together again and see how it goes. That's all there is to it. No idea on age, but it's got ball bearing races in it, so it's not as old as the Westinghouse. Maybe 1950s or 60s. Hydronics is working, just needs a booster pump to get more flow through this coil. I'm finding the water's coming out warm about halfway through the coil, so if I double the flow I should get cold water all the way through and get adequate chilling. The unit doesn't cycle very often at all as a result of this low flow rate, so I've got to put a booster pump on that, and this one will be right. I'll probably add a second coil as well, but it does work. Likewise, I'm troubleshooting this chest freezer I found at the yard. Got one for Brad a while ago and it just doesn't quite cut it on a hot day. It's not up to food service standards like to put out the back of a restaurant as a storage freezer. So I'm trying this one out. It's been running for 10 minutes so far and it's still cold. We've got very finite charge in it, if any. I'm pretty sure it's out of gas. So I'm just not getting anything from it. Return line is cold though, that's funny. So I'll let it run for a good hour. If it doesn't start to frost up or become obscenely cold inside, then I'm going to can it. Make a nice storage box, that's about it. Also scrapped a very big electric forklift at the yard recently. The DC motors look like a pain in the ass to work on, so I'm not going to bother with them. But I did get the battery charger bits. The battery charger is enormous. It's about the size of this chest freezer. That's its little timing relay, which I'll do an autopsy on. It's got a little bulb of mercury inside it. Probably about 15 to 20 grams of mercury. There's a vacuum tube and some other interesting bits in there, so we'll do a detailed video on that one day. Amp meter off, it's pretty trash. Not too fussed about that. Best bit's this. Rectifiers. Very, very big rectifiers. There's 3 of them. Unfortunately it's not 4, so I can't make a full wave bridge, but I'm guessing this is half wave. Got one lead coming off the through bolts. The through bolts are insulated against the housing of the unit, but the through bolts and the heat sinks are also probably the negative side, and I'm guessing one of these wires is the positive side. So they're all coming off the leads of the diodes. So there's 3 leads connecting to the I think it's the cathode, and the anodes are all tied together on one leg here, so it might take a bit of rewiring to get it to work. Yeah, I sold an air conditioner today too, which is why the trailer's out there. Took it across the peninsula to a place called Hastings. So big thanks to Tomlo's Automotive in Hastings for donating this distributor for the Datsun, and he's also going to drag out an old engine block, or a complete long, it's a Datsun 1200, really short, it's probably shorter than this freezer lid is long. I want to do a cutaway on a 4-cylinder engine to do, express a few points. I've got a question from a very persistent man about turning a 4-stroke diesel into a 2-stroke to get more power. I've already said it's not worth it, but just for the hell of it, I'm curious as to what it would take to do it. So playing with an old engine and doing a cutaway on it should make a few points very apparent. I don't believe it's possible or really feasible to do it, but if you want to retain the original motor, maybe you could turn it into a 2-stroke. Definitely have to be forced induction though. That's all I have to say on that project. I'll address it when I get time. I've got a million and one other things to do, so yeah, we push on. Yeah, I just wanted to see what I could salvage out of this old PC. Pentium 4, the HP Pavilion T230A, 2.66 GHz P4, half gig RAM, 80 gig hard drive. Yeah, usual crap. Nothing special. Yeah, DVD RW 16x16. It's all water damaged. It's been flooded. Hard drive's been flooded. It's got a 160 gig hard drive in it instead of the 80. The only thing I'm really interested in is the RAM. It's got half gig in it. Yeah, doesn't look like it's gotten wet. Samsung one. 512 DDR PC 2700. So it's the early high-speed DDR RAM. A lot of USB thingies. Onboard graphics. A dial-up modem. Yeah, this thing's rubbish. Another CPU for the collection. That's about it. The rest of it's trash. Oh, I'll grab the burning lasers out of the ROM drives too. That's the CDRW DVD ROM, and that's the DVD burner. So I'll pull that drive out. Just testing that unit for another customer, the Fujitsu. It's underpowered, but it works alright. I've given it a pass for now. I don't get 50 bucks for it, but it'll do. Better than scrapping it. And this thing here is still sitting on 19 degrees after an hour, so I think she's toast. Discharge is nice and hot. The return's cold, but not cold. The compressor's bloody hot. I think she's out of gas, or very, very low. I notice there's one little frosty patch up here, and that's it. Everywhere else is just lukewarm. Yeah, it's liquid's evaporating up at this part of the coil. It's not travelling around the rest of it, so it's gone. I'll chuck it back on the trailer and just fill it up with steel scrap. I would make a nice electrolysis tank if it was sealed better. It's got all these holes going into the outer lining. So, yeah. Might see if I can seal it up and use it for electrolysis. That'd be interesting. It's even got a lid. Aha, Datsun time. I just realised I've got some old fuel left over. Let's give the old girl a run. Oh yeah, they're the keys that came out of the pickup truck that this engine came out of. I don't have the ignition, but I figured it's sort of a thing to leave with the engine. Reminder of the old truck that it came out of. Yeah, that was a somewhat hot start. That wasn't cold, that's for sure. Even the bottom of the block and the sump's hot. Yeah, that's not bad. I've got to connect one of these PCVs up to the crankcase and get some vacuum going in there. It's drawing oil up past the pistons. There's no crankcase vacuum to help control it. But apart from that, it seems to be quite good. It's got very even compression. It sounds healthy. Just the carburetor's a bit messed up. It's the wrong carby for this engine, so it's running very rich. And there's a bit of a hesitation between idle and run. So it'll come good. It's a good engine. All these old Datsuns are.